This is a brand new projector called the VisionMaster Pro 2, and it's from a brand new manufacturer called Valerion. And you would well be within your rights to question whether we need a new projector manufacturer in 2024 when the market is already quite saturated and the differences between the products is getting smaller. Well, that is until something like this comes along. I have been waiting very patiently to get my hands on the VisionMaster Pro 2 because Valerion contacted me much earlier this year and they gave me details of what they was looking to offer with their new range of projectors. And I thought, at last, this is a manufacturer looking to offer us more high-end performance and features, still with all of the smart features that I've become accustomed to from lifestyle projectors at real world prices that somebody like me could afford. So of course I was really excited by this, but I was also skeptical as to whether they could even deliver it. And I remember saying to myself on a couple of times, Valerion, don't mess this up. Please don't mess this up. And I couldn't believe it when I unboxed the VisionMaster Pro 2 and looked at it, because I have never seen anything like it. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's amazing. It's stunning. When have you ever said that about a projector's aesthetic design? Normally, they are pretty ugly boxes that we want to hide away. This one is more like jewelry. Look at how the light reflects off of it. And I'm going to say it again, this is an amazing design. And what's crazy is all of these metal struts that really are there for the aesthetic appeal, they can take 100 kilograms worth of pressure, which is a totally pointless thing, really, but still quite cool in a way. I suppose if you was doing some weights and you needed to rest your dumbbell on top of the projector, it would survive it. But of course, I know the skeptics among you are going to say, we don't care how the projector looks. We only care about its performance, its picture quality. And I am very much in that camp as well. So let's talk about what's special about this projector. Well, for starters, it's a 4K triple laser or an RGB laser light engine projector with 110% Rec 2020 color space coverage, but not using a color wheel. So the 3000 ANSI lumens brightness doesn't have something in its light path reducing that light and causing some picture artifacts some people are very susceptible to. So this is clearly a better design. One of the big challenges of brighter projectors is maintaining a good black level and a good contrast level. And Valerion are claiming a native contrast of 4,000 to 1 from its Pro Vision light engine and 15,000 to 1 using their EBL or enhanced black level technology. And even 4,000 to 1 is a very impressive number and significantly better than all of the lifestyle projectors that I've looked at so far. But 15,000 to 1 is more like yes boy kind of territory, right? More high-end territory. So that's fantastic. But it would be completely wasted if this fantastic light engine was not shining through a really high quality lens, because the lens really matters for picture clarity. And Valerion are claiming they're using a professional grade lens here that is all glass. So that's really fantastic. And it has a technology built in called Optic Flex, which is really an optical zoom system, but it just changes the throw ratio of the projector from 0.9 to 1.5. And the throw ratio is the distance the projector needs to be away from the screen to create a certain size of image. So to be able to adjust that means you could have the same size image from the projector being slightly closer to the screen. That could be useful. Or at the other end of things, it means that you should be able to have a larger screen size from the same distance away that you might be already used to. So all of these things really just add some extra setup flexibility, and how can you not like that? And the fact that it's all done optically means any adjustment that you make will not come at the cost of the 4K resolution, because digital manipulation to an image can cost you some resolution. And speaking of digital manipulation, you still have all of the smart convenient setup features I have become accustomed to, such as auto keystone, auto focus, auto obstacle detection, auto eye detection, auto screen detection. So the Valerion has all of the latest ease of use, ease of setup and flexibility mod cons built in. Then interestingly, the top of the range is the VisionMaster Max, and that has a lens tilt system, so it can optically lower or raise the image to align it to your screen. Say for example, you have the projector on the ceiling. And it has a dynamic iris, which will better manage the brightness of the projector, again to give you a better picture experience. And all of this may not sound that of a big deal, but I haven't seen features like this on any of the smart projectors, on any projector I've tested since I owned a very high-end Sony some years ago. And that high-end Sony cost more than 3 times what this Valerion does. And it didn't have anywhere near the performance or the other technicals built in. So just to create some perspective here of what Valerion are trying to offer. But coming back to the Pro 2, it is running on the Google TV platform. So there is native support for Netflix, Disney, Amazon, YouTube, and all of the other main streaming services that you might want. And it's all powered by a beefcake AI processor, running things with more RAM. So the user experience should always be top notch, and it is. And then on the rear, we have a really nice number of connections, including 3 HDMI. One of them is EARC. This projector has Wi-Fi 6 support, so there's not really anything here that somebody might want that's missing. And that includes HDR support, because Valerion have not cheaped out on anything here. They give us everything, including Dolby Vision, HDR10, HDR10+, IMAX Enhanced. There is a filmmaker mode built in, amongst a load of very comprehensive picture setup calibration options. And if you're a gamer, this projector has very low gaming lag, down to as low as 4 milliseconds in the right settings. So they really are looking to offer a hell of a lot here with these projectors, which is why I got so excited by the prospect of them. And let's talk about pricing and the current situation at the time of making this video. The Valerion projectors are currently being sold as a Kickstarter campaign, which means huge reductions in the retail prices. And there are already over 1,000 backers of this Kickstarter, probably because of the same reason I agreed to make this video. Valerion is the sister company to AWOL Vision, who make outstanding ultra short throw projectors, one I have here as my reference projector. Looking at the Kickstarter page, the VisionMaster Pro 2 costs $2,099, and it would normally be $3,499, so a huge saving here, as I mentioned. I would spend the extra $100 and get the Max, because that small amount more for the very best makes sense to me. However, I was told the Max will be launched later, and it's saying here May 2025, whereas the Pro 2 should be with you by December, hopefully in time for the holidays, so do bear that in mind. And in real world terms, the Pro 2 will give you, I think, about 95% of what the Max will offer, because its specs are very, very similar. So that's a real world difference to think about. And before I get into talking to you about the picture quality and the testing I did, I do need to mention just how nice the overall quality of the packaging is. The EPP protective case is big and chunky and nice. The inside packaging quality was surprisingly nice. And look how small the power supply is. This gallium nitride power supply is more like what you would charge a phone with, rather than the laptop style brick we normally see for projectors like this. So even the power supply is better here. And included is a very high quality remote control that is illuminated with quick access buttons to loads of important things. And this remote control is just nicer, significantly nicer than the very similar plastic ones that you normally get with most smart projectors. And the fact you've got quick access to like all the streaming services and a lovely kind of D-pad to use, this is just a really nice quality remote control. So looking at the overall picture, we get really nice quality packaging, a really nice quality remote control, beautifully styled projector, and then the picture, performance we'll talk about shortly. So like everything here is like, yes, this is a more premium product in terms of cost, but like The package, everything you get here is more premium too. It's more high-end, it's more luxury, and all it really needs to do now is deliver on those specs for its picture quality. So let's talk about the picture quality, and I want to start by saying this video cannot be seen as a full review because I have been sent an engineer sample of the VisionMaster Pro 2. You can see it on a sticker. There's a sticker underneath as well that says it's an engineer sample. So because it's not a full retail sample, please don't see this as a full review. And because the situation is as it is, I had very limited testing time with this projector. However, within the time that I had, if I had to describe my emotion or the emotion I feel towards this projector, it would be humbled. I've been humbled by what this thing can do. I tested the Pro 2 on a 4 meter or 157 inch professional grade acoustically transparent screen in a fully light controlled black room. So great, but harsh testing conditions. And I have to say a huge thanks to Reference Audio, the Hi-Fi and AV dealership based in Witham in Essex, who allow me to use their facilities to test projectors in such great conditions. And the Valerion gives you a ton of picture settings and options, the most I have seen on a projector to date. And you can use the filmmaker mode or a number of preset profiles to make things easy. But I set everything up custom by eye to get as much image dynamism from this projector's picture as possible. However, this is a projector I would definitely recommend paying for a professional calibration because you have a full color CMS, a full gamma control and 20-point white balance controls and more. So you could get a truly accurate and amazing image from this projector, and that is fantastic. Now, I turned pretty much all of the out-of-the-box settings off, especially the motion compensation because that's a proper test of the projector, but with the exception of the enhanced black level and dynamic tone mapping. And I am going to show you a series of clips that I've obviously recorded of this projector just to give you just a little taste of how good this is. But obviously bear in mind what you're seeing is not the same as it was in the flesh, but I try and make it as accurate and as close to that as possible. But like, it's not the same, and any picture artifacts you might see are only related to the camera settings. It's not going to be perfect, but it's as close to the real thing as I can give you. Firstly, what impressed me was not just the brightness of the Pro 2, but just how much punch the image had on the screen and how solid the images were, but with a real authenticity to them. The colors or the contrast or the image in general never becomes too thick or too saturated, and you never lose details in the shadows or the highlights, showing the effectiveness of the enhanced black level technology and the dynamic tone mapping. It works amazingly well. Because there is always what I'm going to call just a little bit of delicacy to the picture, which I'm definitely not used to. And there is so much clarity, you feel like you're seeing the actors or the action through the camera lens, rather than watching it as a video on a screen in a room. And I appreciate that sounds cheesy, and this difference is really quite a subtle thing and a rare one, but it stands out to someone like me who works with a camera all the time, and I think it's fantastic when you see this. This is the difference between very good and high end. The black levels and contrast was excellent and as good as I have seen from projection full stop. And the colours had a softer nature to them, and I felt like I could push the colour control a lot, and the image just got better and better and did not get mushy until the level was set really very high. And even then the colour stayed delicate in its delivery with a really impressive gradation between the colours. Flicking through my usual test discs such as Pacific Rim in HDR10, it looked amazing and as good as I have ever seen it before, probably better actually in ways, and I've never seen it this good, this big. It was really impressive, super impressive stuff from every picture point of view. Furiosa in Dolby Vision was the same. The gritty, sandy, dusty shot on film look still had a lovely rich but pastel-like colour palette with such a high level of detail and richness to the image, Again, it's as good as I've ever seen it. The level of detail on offer here is absolutely mind-blowing. Lego Batman in HDR10 looked mind-blowingly amazing. Those are the only words I can use for it. It was so bright and so rich and so colourful and so strong in contrast, but super clean without losing a single detail in either the highlights or the shadows. This was amazing to me to see it look this good on such a large screen. Sticking with the bright and colourful, Across the Spider-Verse in Dolby Vision again looked super clean and clear. And the very artistic visual style of this movie had massive emotional impact because the image punch from the brightness and the way the colours were handled through all of the action on the screen, it just had this lovely vivacity about it. Again, it's as good as I've ever seen from any display. The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies, the picture detail on offer here was remarkable. The really small and subtle details that you could pick out. Everything was just so clear. And a movie like this, on a display like this, yes, it has a very strong artistic look, but boy, it's a spectacle to sit and watch. It's infinitely enjoyable to see it look this good on such a large screen. It's like mind-blowing stuff, really, when you think about it. Switching over to some SDR content on YouTube, using the built-in Google TV streaming platform. Again, using my quick and dirty, really custom picture settings, but still using the enhanced black level option. My own content looked the best I have ever seen it on a projector, especially leveled up to this size, because this is a real ask making a YouTube video look good at 4 meters in size. But all my videos looked great, far better than they should. So really kudos to me for my channel's production values, but of course kudos to the projector for keeping the image looking clear and accurate, even with very compressed YouTube content. Then looking at some of the classic YouTube videos that everybody watches, the contrast, the colours, the black level, and then the composure of the image to keep all of this colour brightness and contrast chaos so neatly put together was really stand out, because skin still looked like skin even with this much crazy colour going on in the image. And I can only think of the words picture composure to describe this. I'm sure there are technical terms for it that I'm just not aware of. And then some of the Disney Plus titles I used to test projectors all looked incredible. Encanto, Luca, and Elementals all looked as good as I have ever seen them. Just huge on this huge screen, but so clean and so clear and so detailed. And again, the composure of the image was really something. And lastly, I tested Netflix because native support means the best experience. And I watched some of the recent Vince McMahon documentary, as this has a very stylized look for the main character interviews. And you could see that super clearly here with this level of image quality and clarity and detail on this huge screen. It's amazing stuff. Then just for a bit of fun, I spun some Cobra Kai, because who doesn't love Cobra Kai? Because in a lot of the episodes there is some really high production values. So hopefully you could see the quality of this projector through some of those Cobra Kai clips. And I was sitting there watching, the content thinking, wow, the Valerion certainly seems like the Miyagi of the projector world. That's a terrible joke. But what I liked most about the streaming experience was the experience. Everything was fast and snappy. It didn't matter what I was streaming. The menus and everything always stayed the same speed, the same snappiness. And that's not been the case for most of the smart projectors that I've looked at. Normally when you're streaming from them, the menu system becomes super bogged down and you just don't get that lovely experience. It's okay, it's just not ideal. This is much more like how it should be in terms of a user experience from anything smart in 2024. Because I had very limited time, it wasn't enough time to test absolutely everything. So to try and look for negatives in what the projector could do is not easy, because I was focusing on just testing what I could. But one of the negatives could maybe be some fan noise. It has a little bit of fan noise. So the projector's on there, as you can see. Here's the fan noise. So there is a little bit. Hopefully you can see it. The microphone's about 2 foot, maybe less than 2 feet away from the projector. So there is a little bit of fan noise, but can you hear the fan noise now over my talking? Because I could hear it in a silent room, but as soon as there was any sound playing out of the projector, because the projector plays really loud actually, funnily enough, I couldn't hear the fan noise anymore. But there is some fan noise, so maybe nitpicking, could be seen as negative. So in summary then, this has been the best long throw projector I have seen to date in terms of its stunning design, in terms of all of the features that it has, because it has them all, in terms of how the menu has been designed and how everything is laid out, in terms of how many calibration controls that it gives you. And it seems like all of this addresses all of the complaints that I've had in my previous projector reviews. And then you have its exceptionally high quality picture capability. It's exceptionally high. And I would say it's probably knocking on the door, really knocking on the door of what the very expensive high-end projectors are able to offer us in 2024. From this very compact, lovely styled, very real-world priced package. So see why I was excited by this, but I was worried. I was worried it might not deliver to the standard, but it has. It has delivered on every one of my expectations. It's exceeded some. And obviously this is still not the full product yet. I dare say they'll tweak this and improve this before it even goes live. And then you have the Max version, which will be even a little bit better than this. Again, and it's hard to imagine how it could be a little bit better than this. So it's going to be really interesting to see that next year. So look, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been useful for you. I would say if you're interested in this projector, jump on that Kickstarter, quick, because the numbers are going quick in terms of the projectors that are available. But look, it's a Kickstarter thing. It's important for you to be comfortable with that type of setup. If you're not, I would say just hold out. Yes, you'll pay a bit more for these projectors once they're out in the flesh as retail products. But if you feel more comfortable with that, just wait for them to come out. Pay the slight premium, because that will just sit better with you. But it's been great to spend some time on this projector. I've really enjoyed my time, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.